So guys, the judge that scored in favor of Keith Thurman, is that corruption or is that inept? I would like to think he's inept. But it does make you think sometimes when some of these decisions are made, not just the one yesterday, but the decisions that we've seen in the past as well, like the Bradley. Is that inept? Or is it corruption? Now, Eddie Earn, who you guys would know is a big promoter in the UK and now he's also in the US, says he doesn't like to think it's not corruption. It's inept. It's a guy just that's not doing his job properly. But sometimes some of these decisions is like, come on, man, you're professionals. You've been doing this for such a long time. You're very experienced. How can you get it so horribly wrong? And that's what makes you lead to go down the corruption route. Teddy Atlas has mentioned it so many times, that corruption. He goes, the promoters know the judges. They hire the judges. So if it's their fighter that's fighting, of course it's gonna be in favor of their fighter. So it's a big problem. This judging is a big problem. Now, this judge that scored in favor of Keith Thurman, right? I've said it in many videos before. He needs to be questioned. He needs to be asked, why did you get that decision? What's happening? There needs to be a proper, thorough investigation. Not a case where, he can just make a mistake. You should have seen the commentators after the fight. They were flabbergasted. They were not happy with the decision. I was not happy. It's just not right. It's just not right in our sport, and we've seen it before. This isn't the first time. We've seen it a lot, many times before, where decisions are like, it's just terrible, and it spoils the game. I do think that I think people have become numb to it. That's why a lot of experts now don't say anything about it, because they've become numb to it, and they're just like, you know what, it just happens in our sport, so it is what it is. But it's not right. It's not right at all. To let a judge just get away with not murder, but it's serious. It's a serious mistake. In this case, it didn't cost anything, so it get brushed under the carpet. If Pacquiao had lost, then there may have been more outcry. Because he's won, that judge, nothing will happen to him. See, in the Canelo fight, Canelo drew, so the right decision, people thought that the right decision wasn't made, and that's why the judges won. The judges came under scrutiny. In this fight, the judge will probably get away with it because there's not that much scrutiny. There's guys like me and other guys that have been probably reporting on about it, but because Pacquiao won, people will brush it aside. But there's a big problem in our sport. It's a big problem in our sport, and it needs to be corrected. It needs to be solved, because otherwise we're going to have a situation where there's going to be someone that gets done unfairly and their career is going to be on the line. They might not get a big payday after that. They might not get a big fight after that. We need to stop these situations. We need to stop this. And there needs to be accountability. There needs to be a proper panel in place where if there's a bad judging decision where a lot of people think that's a bad decision, that judge needs to sit amongst the panel and explain how he scored the fight, how he scored. He's doing a job that's being watched by millions. He's doing a job. He needs to explain, not to the public. I think people have said, there needs to be publicized. It needs that meeting needs to be public. No, it needs to be done behind closed doors. With commissions and administrators or whoever who are administrating the game, need to sit down and say, how did you score that? What did you see? Then you get to the bottom of it. Is it corruption or is it inept? Do you know what I mean? Because at the minute, a lot of fans are like, we don't know what it is. Is it corrupt? They're saying corruption. It might just be the judge is inept. He's not very good, and he's just doing it haphazard. He's just scoring it how he pleases, which is not right. There needs to be a proper system, a proper procedure in place. If mistakes are made, all right, you sit down amongst the panel, you explain how you scored it. And that's when there'll be more clarity. We'll know whether it's corruption, it's inept. Because at the minute we don't have a clue. And the fans are kind of like, how can it be? How can it be that he gets it so wrong? Everyone can see, you know, casuals can see that Pacquiao won. How can he not see? He's a professional. He does it in day out. So this is why we need to they need to sit down and they need to explain how they've done it. Like that, you'll know that he's just making it up, or he's just inept, or he's corrupt, or he's inept. Sorry. But that's my take on it. Leave your thoughts, leave your comments. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.